you start. And where you reading to, did you say?
I'm going to start on the world they encounter in higher education, and I'm going to stop on where it says on the cusp of change.
Okay.
3 lines down.
Yep. And then we'll talk about that, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, is that all right?
Yep,
and then
that sounds good.
Yeah, so we've actually started to record now. It's into the 30s. So this is quite good the way this is working. So what I'm going to do is, as I'm reading it, I'm going to, first I might highlight it in blue. This is the stuff I'm going to read. Happy with that?
Yep.
So the world, this comes from the conclusion. And this is JISC number 3. I think that's what it is. So it comes from the conclusion, the world they encounter in higher education, and they're talking here about the student, has been constructed on a wholly different set of norms. Characterized broadly, it is hierarchical, substantially introvert, guarded, careful, precise, and measured. The two worlds are currently coexisting, with present-day students effectively occupying a position on the cusp of change. Yeah. So we yet haven't dropped and made the leap, but the students are waiting for us to do that.
So as it says here, the opposition to change is the staff rather than the students.
Or maybe there are some students that are quite happy to be lectured to, because that's quite safe. Because if you get lectured to in that safe environment and you do exactly what you're told to do, then guess what?
It's easy, isn't it? Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
You're playing the game.
You're playing the game.
Yeah. So
they then go on to say, if I may read this further,
yeah.
They aren't demanding different approaches. Rather, they are making adaptations as are necessary for the time it takes to gain their qualifications. Effectively, they are managing a disjuncture, and the situation is feeding the natural inertia of any established system. So this is established, and in some ways they're worried about changing the establishment because it might affect their grades.
Yeah.
And so they're just adapting to work within it. However, as we know, that doesn't make it right.
But I need to do this to gain my qualification, and I'm going to do whatever I need to adapt so that I'll meet those necessary demands.
Yes, exactly. So it goes on to say, it is however, unlikely to be substantiable in the long term. The next generation is unlikely to be so accommodating, and some reapproachment will be necessary if higher education is to continue to provide a learning experience that is recognised as stimulating, challenging, and relevant. So what they're saying is, unless we change, although we're getting away with it now at this point in time, in the future, the next generation of learners won't accept it.
It's not sustainable long term because we're living a lie, because this isn't learning. This is how we learn, not how they learn.
And just because we learnt this way doesn't mean it is the right way.
Or wrong.
It is a form of dictatorship in that sense, is it not?
Yeah, but it might not be wrong, but it might also not be right.
If there's a better way, why shouldn't we be exploring the better way and moving in that direction?
Yeah, so further down the reading it says the impetus for change will come from the students themselves as the behaviour and approaches of parent now become more deeply embedded in subsequent cohorts. In other words, the young dudes coming through from school, they think this is the norm, that the new way is the norm, and as they come through, there's generation or cohort after cohort coming through. That's what's going to force the change, the impetus to change.
And we've already discussing this as in what's happening within the Kane program.
Yeah.
And as those students come through, will they accept going back to an old way of dictatorship teaching rather than a new way of them being able to explore and further their own self within that exploitation.
Is it dictatorship, or is it just another way, and the only way we know is that way?
I think it is the only way we know.
Yeah.
Doesn't, yeah.
Because we never had the web. We never had a whole lot of the things that these guys have. I've only just started to learn how to text, and people are starting to phone me because they're realising that I've got a phone number.
Yeah, well, it's our time up.